I've always thought drummers have the best seat in the house. They're the backbone, the goalkeepers of the band. Meanwhile, the singers just shake their hips and charm the crowd." That was Phil Collins in one of his quieter interviews. Joking, yes, but underneath the humor lay a truth. Collins wasn't just keeping time behind the kit. He was redefining it. He was the rare drummer who stepped forward, who became the voice of a generation, a sideman who found poetry in rhythm. Every beat he played carried emotion, control mixed with chaos, precision wrapped in pain. He came up during an era when drummers finally stepped out from the shadows, when rhythm stopped being background noise and became the heartbeat of modern music. From the raw thunder of In the Air Tonight to the layered patterns of The Lamb Lies Down on Broadway, Collins proved rhythm could speak when words fell short. But even as he forged his own identity, he never forgot those who taught him how. The masters who showed him what power, touch, and restraint truly meant, men whose influence shaped his philosophy, his songwriting, even his silences. These are the 7 drummers Phil Collins has always held above the rest, the innovators who made rhythm breathe, and who taught him that behind every great song lies a heartbeat. 7. Ringo Starr, the Beatle who made simplicity, profound before Genesis. Before solo fame, there was a young Phil Collins listening wide-eyed to Ringo Starr. Ringo wasn't flashy, and he didn't need to be. His magic was feel, a groove that breathed, a rhythm that sounded alive. Collins said it best. Ringo taught me that timing isn't about perfection, it's about personality. Ringo wasn't a technician. He was a storyteller. Every snare hit felt like a sentence, every fill like punctuation to Lennon and McCartney's melodies. Collins realized early that emotion mattered more than complexity. When you listen to Genesis classics like Follow You, Follow Me or That's All, you can hear that lesson. Simple. Human drumming that speaks without shouting. Collins once said he made mistakes sound intentional. That, to him, was the art, a beat that could smile, hesitate, or sigh. Ringo didn't play for applause. He played for truth. And Collins never forgot that. 6. Buddy Rich, the firebrand who made drums a weapon for Collins. Jazz wasn't just a style, it was a language. And Buddy Rich was its fiercest speaker. His hands moved faster than thought. His precision terrified even other drummers. Collins studied him like an actor studies Shakespeare. Every roll, every break, every pause charged with purpose. But what really fascinated Collins was Buddy's attitude. That fierce pride, that sense of total control teetering on the edge of chaos. He didn't just play the drums, Collins once said. He commanded them. To him, Rich was proof that perfection could be dangerous, and that danger was beautiful. His influence echoed years later in Collins' slow, tense build-ups, most famously in the Air Tonight. Different genres, same principle, suspense through rhythm. Buddy Rich showed him that drumming wasn't about showing off, it was about owning the moment. 5. John Bonham, the thunder that shook the earth. When Phil Collins first heard Led Zeppelin's When the Levee Breaks, everything changed. John Bonham didn't just hit drums, he moved the air around them. His sound wasn't loud for volume's sake, it was physical, emotional. When Bonham hit the snare, Collins said, the world moved an inch. Bonham's style was power fused with humanity, massive but breathing. His fills weren't mechanical, they felt alive. Collins borrowed that same pulse, especially in Genesis, where complexity met raw drive. He often said, you can't fake heaviness, it comes from the soul. And when you hear that monumental drum break in the Air Tonight, you're hearing Collins's tribute to Bonham's ghost, power harnessed through feeling. To him, Bonham wasn't just Zeppelin's anchor. He was proof that heart and thunder can share the same beat. 4. Al Jackson Jr., the soul of simplicity. If Bonham gave Collins thunder, Al Jackson Jr. gave him patience, the quiet pulse behind Booker T and the MGs. Jackson was the heartbeat of Stax Records, supporting legends like Otis Redding and Al Green. He played softly, but left a deep mark. Collins said, Al taught me that silence between notes is just as powerful as the notes themselves. Jackson's drumming didn't demand attention. It invited it. Each stroke of his snare was deliberate, confident, conversational. That sense of restraint became a cornerstone of Collins's own music. Even amid Genesis's complex arrangements, you could hear Jackson's influence, a groove that served melody, not ego. On solo records like Face Value, that same spirit lived on, slow, deliberate rhythm full of emotion. To Collins, Al Jackson Jr. didn't keep time, he gave it soul. 3. Bill Bruford, the architect of precision. When it came to thinking drummers, nobody fascinated Collins like Bill Bruford of Yes and King Crimson. Bruford turned rhythm into architecture. His patterns bent and curved through odd time signatures, but never lost their flow. Collins said, he made complexity sound graceful. They were peers and, briefly, bandmates. Bruford toured with Genesis in the mid-'70s. Watching him play was like seeing a mathematician write poetry. He didn't play to impress. He played to express ideas. That combination of intellect and instinct became a blueprint for Collins' later work. Technique only matters when it serves emotion, Collins reflected years later. Bruford proved that progressive rock could think deeply without losing its heart. 2. Steve Gadd, the quiet perfectionist Phil Collins vividly remembers the first time he heard Steve Gadd on 50 Ways to Leave Your Lover. It stopped me cold, he said. Gadd's playing wasn't showy, it was surgical. Every ghost note, every shuffle, perfectly placed, yet effortlessly natural. Collins admired how Gadd's mastery never shouted. He played like a man with nothing to prove, Collins once said. To him, Gadd was an architect, building songs from the inside out, turning complexity into calm. Whether it was Paul Simon, Steely Dan, or James Taylor, Gadd's groove was invisible and unshakable. Collins took that lesson to heart in his own production style, refining, tightening, serving the song above all else. Steve Gadd taught him that greatness isn't loud. It's felt. 1. Chester Thompson, the mirror behind the kit, and finally, the man who stood beside him, Chester Thompson. When Genesis needed a second drummer after Collins moved to the front, Thompson stepped in and something magical happened. They weren't just two drummers, they were two halves of one heartbeat. Their dual drum sections became legendary. Precision and instinct, structure and soul, locked together in perfect harmony. When we played together, Collins said, I could finally breathe again. Their bond went beyond the stage. Thompson's calm grounded Collins' intensity, and their rehearsals often turned into deep rhythmic explorations, two friends pushing the limits of what rhythm could mean. To Collins, Thompson wasn't just a colleague, he was family, the living proof that rhythm shared is rhythm strengthened.
Please don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon.